What's up, Owls fam? Keon here. We're going to go over our active levels from yesterday and how we played those trades. We're also going over our watch list for tomorrow's trading day. But before we get into that, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button so we can keep pushing out this content. If you haven't already, I invite you to join our Discord group absolutely free for 7 days. You get access to all our channels and all our trading alerts. And if you don't love us, totally fine. Keep the money that you earn. Now let's get started. All right, so let's get the Twitter pulled up from our key levels. So here we go. Owls Triggers, Keon at Keon Trades on Twitter. Hit that follow button so you can get all these free levels as well. So we got U calls above 132.89, puts below 129.92. Let's see how these played out today. So let's check out U. Let's delete these lines just so we can start fresh. Let's go back to the 15-minute chart. So at open today is Wednesday. We had levels above 132.89. And we had puts below 129.92. Unfortunately, today, as you can see, it was very slow. Not much movement in the market. So these levels did not work. No trade was validated. You could have maybe played a bounce off 129.96. Play that run up maybe to 132, but with this low volume, I don't think the trade was worth it. So this alert was not validated. Let's go to the next one. We got what? JD. Yep. All right. So JD, we have calls above 78.61, puts below 76.98. So we opened up at, what is this time? 6:30. All right, so we opened right at resistance, 76.69, right? We went to a low of 74.94. So we did say that if JD went below 76.98, could play puts below, as you can see, push down to 74.97. That trade would have worked. So that was a good level to follow. Let's go to TTD. So TTD, we said calls above 71.55, puts below 70.46. It's unfortunate that today was a terrible volume day until maybe the last, 1 hour. So we got calls above 71.55. So what did we open at? 6:30, around 70.73. Puts below 70.46. Nothing much. I mean, this is nothing, right? So, with today's volume, it was not a day to trade these stocks. None of them triggered. These are all premium colors. So, but it is what it is. That's what the market gives us, right? We just play what the market gives us. And last but not least, we had Twilio. So Twilio calls above 338.98, puts below 334.91. So let's check out Twilio. So this one was actually a good mover. So we said above 338.98, play calls, right? This worked. This trade worked. So if you play calls above 338.98, you would have made money. You could have also played this resistance, this resistance that we actually has a support from yesterday, to play the run up all the way to, what is that resistance right there? 342.44. This is a great trade to have. If anyone had Twilio on their watch list, could have easily made some money on the call side. All right, now for tonight's watch list, what do we got? We got Snapchat, SPX, Ford, NVAX, UPST, TMC, another meme stock that we hit today, Twitter, and Net. All right, let's get this watch list for tonight ready to go. Okay, we got Snapchat. Remember, we're on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so we have a resistance here, right? 73.68. So if it breaks above 73.68, we would like to see a continuation to a previous support, new resistance. So 74.16. So this is the previous support. We can use that as a new resistance. Above this resistance, we can go to these new resistances at 75.82. All right, so Snapchat had a great move today. Actually, as a matter of fact, NASDAQ, the market as a whole had a great move today, just with not much volume. So if we can't break this resistance, where is the previous resistance, which is around here, 72.77. So that's going to be our new support. So below 72.79 is going to be our support. Below this level here, which is around the 200 EMA on the 15-minute chart, we can go below our new support, which is around 71.52, which is a previous resistance right here. I mean, if you go below that, we can go to this previous support, which is around 71 flat. Now, if we want to swing trade this, let's see how the daily chart looks. Okay, so let's delete all this. Okay, so we can see that it has bounced 3 times on the 69.78 range, right? So we know that this is going to be our major support, okay? The 8 moving average and the 21 moving average are right against each other. So the 8 hasn't crossed over the 21 hasn't crossed over 8, so it's not bullish or bearish. TTM is reversing to the bullish side, but we don't know yet, right? It has not fired. It has not fired long yet. So what we can do again is we got to find a resistance and a support. We found the support, which is a 69.78, but a resistance would be around the 21 EMA, which is actually the wick is right on it. So we are above the 8 and 21. We just don't see a crossover yet. So what I would like to see is if Snapchat goes above 73.97 for continuation to this resistance here at 75.6. And there has been a lot of call flow coming into Snapchat, as a matter of fact. It's just NASDAQ was not performing as well. And I don't know how much money those guys lost, but it is what it is. So that is a swing trade. Again, we did hold the 50 EMA, which is very important. You can use the 50 EMA as a huge support. So that was a great support to use. So that's Snapchat. So 69.78 support. You got 73.97 resistance with a 75.6 first target for calls. Now for puts, I would just go VWAP to 67.5. All right. Now let's check the flow for Snap. All right. Let's bring this up. So we got a 13.9 million call premium to 5.5 million put premium. Very bullish. A lot of call flow coming in. Now the last, what is that? Almost 8-9 orders were all bearish flows. But again, anything can change overnight. We always look at the flow the next day. It's good to know how much flow there is right now, but tomorrow is a new day, right? So, but it is bullish. The flow is bullish. 13.9 million to 5.5 put premium. All right, so now we got Snap. Let's do SPX, our favorite. It is our favorite on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays because the contracts are much cheaper. All right, now everyone wants SPX to test the 50 EMA. The last 5 times, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Will it be the 6th time? Who knows? It was a good close today, almost 1% up. But we still have this support right here. So 4.23, give or take 0.44. Okay, this is the 50 EMA. We have a support here at 4.03, right? We also have a resistance, a previous resistance at 4481.11. This is a previous resistance from August 16th. So break above that, expect SPX to make a run. All right. But now since we're scalping this, right, we're not going to swing SPX because that's very risky unless you got, the guts to do it. But let's do the 15-minute. Now, SPX, this will change pre-market regardless, right? But let's be prepared for some levels. So we closed with a resistance at 4486.83. Okay, so if SPX stays in this range by tomorrow morning, look for more upside above 4486.83. And if we could break above that, we got a major resistance here at 4498.03, right? Because it could not break above this resistance. It's good that SPX in the 15-minute has held above the 200 EMA. So that is good. But if we break below 4481.11, where could we go next? And that is going to be our previous resistance, new support, which is around 4465.59. Below that, we can test this previous support, right, at 4445.5. Below that, the low of 4434.03. So SPX is going to be wild. It's going to be really wild. And again, this will most likely change pre-market. So we're just going to have to wait and see. Let's see how the flow is for SPX. 10 billion call premium to 1.9 billion put premium. I like that. That is music to my ears. I like being a bull. All right. I like buying calls. I don't buy puts unless I need to have insurance for my long stocks. So very bullish in the flow. Very bullish. We have to wait to see how SPX opens. The past couple of days, SPX has gapped up and sold off. Today, low volume and finally made a push almost throughout the whole day. So pre-market is going to tell us everything. All right, next up, Ford. Ford has made a move today. Okay, so we have a resistance at the high of 3.25, right? We can always use this as a resistance, the high, right? Now, we can use the 21 EMA as a support, but it's not enough to where the premiums could really be affected, right? It's only, what, a 5-cent move, right? But Ford is a slow mover, yet they still had 108% of an average volume, so that's really good. But we can use VWAP as a support. So 1309 is going to be your first support. Below that, we are going to use a previous resistance, which is around 1303. And that should be it for Ford. I mean, Ford is a slow mover. Premiums don't move as much. So these will be your targets. Now, above 13.25, we can go to the 1 hour and see where it could head above this resistance, which is around here, right? So this, we can use this resistance around 13.37, and there's another small one at 13.45. So above 13.25, we can see 13.37 and 13.45. TTM fired long, volume way above average. You like to see that. Let's check the flow. $8.8 million calls to 3.6 million puts. Bullish flow. Again, this is just a back pocket tool to have. We don't like to use flow blindly. You know, we have to check the charts first, but we got it. We can see where the money is going as well. But for Ford, it is more bullish than bearish. Next up, NVAX. NVAX has been a fun ride. NVAX has been a fun ride. So we have a low of 223.05. Okay. We have a resistance at around 232.98, but I'm not going to, there's no point of playing that resistance, and this stock will move. Let's use this resistance here at 236.62, right? And it's very tight. This will change tomorrow morning, but you can see that it could either go either way, right? It could go up, push the upside, or it can push down below support, the low. Okay, so what we like to see is above 236.62. Above that, we can see 242.49. Okay, now below the close, we have a support here, right, at 229.93. Below 229.93, look for the lows of 223.05. TTM bullish momentum has decreased, and so that's not a good sign. But look at the volume. I mean, the volume is, you know, it's not bad, 58%. but it could be better. It definitely could be better for NVAX. Okay, so below 229.93, look for 223.05. Above 236.62, look for 242.49. Let's check the flow. So NVAX has 23.6 million call premium to 7.4 million put premium. So the stocks that we've seen it looks like way more calls than puts. So we can be leaning on the bullish side after looking at these stocks flow. But again, we just do not know how the market is going to open tomorrow, right? So this is why the key levels are the most important tool. So again, 236.62 above that, look for 242. Below 229.93, look for 223.05. Opening could change the levels, but look for a retest. Don't get in, right away if you see that break or, breakdown, right? For me personally, I do not like trading the first 30 minutes unless I absolutely like something and I'm ready to jump in. Okay, so that's just my rule of thumb. So what do we got next? UPST. UPST is always green. Okay, so let's clear these so we can restart. So we do have a resistance here at around 282.57. There's a rejection here, right? So above 282.27, we can see the next resistance is around 291. I don't even see you can use this. Yeah, 291.26. So if it cannot break this level, you can use 280.08 because you see there's a rejection here, there's a rejection here. So, but I like the 282.27. Now, if it cannot break this 282.27, look for more downside, and that's going to be around this previous resistance, now new support at 275.42. Below 275.42, we could go down to, let's check it out, this previous resistance here at 273. Now, if we go below 273.1, you have a previous resistance here, right? So 269.36, below that, 264. Now we are long UPST. It looks good. It closed well. I would like to see it above 282.27 and see if it can test 291. This has been a monster lately. This has been an absolute monster. All right, let's check the flow. 24.5 million call premium to 15.4 put premium. A lot of bullish orders towards the end of the day. That's a good sign. It closed really well at 280. So I'm expecting a continuation tomorrow. Let's just see if NASDAQ, S&P, makes it want to go up, right? You got to make sure the indices are supporting the stock. You never want to fight the trend. But looking at the flow, it's a bull to me. All right, let's do TMC. Oh my God. So we alerted TMC today, a 10 call for December 17th, I believe. It was a quick play. I think we bought it for $1.65, sold it for $2.30. It's at $12 aftermarket. And we still have some contracts open. Now, what do we need to look for tomorrow? As you can see, I entered the trade, right? Once it broke 10, right? Once it broke 10, that resistance pushed up. There is a support here, right? At 8.72, or let's delete that. 8.75. So that's our support, right? But now we have a resistance at 13.15. If we cannot hold or not break above this resistance, where is our new Support, it was a previous resistance at around 11.65. So if it goes below 11.65, look for puts straight to 10. If it can break above 13.15, I can see this thing, especially with this volume, 471% in volume, 7.2 million. I'm not even kidding. I think this took the volume out of the whole market. I'm just kidding, but it seemed like it, right? So if it breaks 13.15, I see it going to 15.39 with no problem, with absolutely no problem. But if it goes below 11.65, with this kind of volume, we can go down to the 10s too. You know, when stocks go up this high, this fast, it could do the same thing on the other side. It can go down just as fast. So we got to be careful. You know, we have stops on our last contract, so nothing to worry about. We're in profits. Worst case, you break even on your last contract. Okay, so now let's check the flow on this. Let's see if they even have flow. They do. 5.1 million call premium to 1.4 million inputs. But look at all these bearish contracts. They are small though. 11,000, 45,000. This is nothing. These premiums are probably very cheap too. So nothing to worry about. More calls than puts. That's all I care about, right? That's all we should all care about. So more bullish premium. All right. Twitter had a good pop actually earlier today. Let's take this out. All right. So I like to see Twitter break 62 flat, right? There was a resistance here, couldn't break. So above 62 with volume, could see 63.38, right? Let's make this simple. Now we could also use as your first price target this previous support, which is around 62.27. But again, it's such a small move that your premiums are not going to move that much, right? You can use this as a little target. You know, if your premiums go up and you have multiple contracts, well, maybe you can take out some profits. But I like the 63.38 target first, but it needs volume. If we cannot break this level, there's a previous resistance right here, right at open. It could not hold this 61.44. So 61.44 is going to be your support. And if you go below that, there's a double top here at 60.76, 1, 2. So that's going to be your next target. All right. So that is Twitter. Not too much. What's the volume? I had 110,000% in volume today. So Twitter was a good stock to play today. As you can see, it broke that. Wow. Yeah. So if people realized, or traders realized this double top here, right? Once Twitter broke that resistance, that's why you see this run up, right? So that could have been a great trade. I missed it. Got too many other things to look at. Let's check the flow. 15.8 million calls. I don't know if I think I just said million. Call premiums to 5.6 million puts. Again, more bullish flow. It's good for the stock. People are putting their money where their mouth is. So I would expect more upside. Again, we have to see how NASDAQ does. All right. So again, above 62, we can see 63.38. Below 61.44. First target 60.76. There is also another resistance that's a new support. 60.11 will be your put price target. All right. Last but not least, what do we got? Net, one of my favorites, a stock that I am long since the 40s. All right. So what do we got? We got a resistance at around, I like 130 flat, 129 is fine. So above 129, where could this go? We got resistance here at around 130.45 and the high of 131.35, right? So there's rejection here, rejection here, rejection here. So that's going to be a big level to break. If we cannot hold 129, we're going to have to test the previous resistance at 128.03. which is right here, right? So rejected here. Below 120.03, well, 125.05. Okay, now below 125.05 could get a bit scary. You can use this previous support around here. So 123.96. So that's net. Pretty simple. Great volume. TTM actually is reversing to, it's losing bullish momentum, but it's okay. That's aftermarket. It doesn't matter. So above 129, you can see 130.45 and also 131.38. Below 128.03, 125.05. All right. My light just turned on. Nice. So let's check the flow on net. 3.1 million calls to 940,000 puts. More bullish premium. What a surprise. What a surprise. Net has been super strong. Even with these sellouts, net has been holding up very nicely. It's almost like every time it dips, you buy it, right? It'll never fail you. So again, net above 130, look for 130.45 and 131.35 at the high of last Thursday. A break below 128.03, you can see 125.05. Below 125.05, you can see 123.96. And that is going to be our watch list for tonight. I will post these key levels in our Discord and my Twitter. My Twitter handle is @KeyOnTrades. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and like so I can keep pushing out this content. And again, if you haven't joined our Discord, it's absolutely free for 7 days. If you don't like us, no problem. Keep the money that you made. All right, guys, have a good one.